All right, today we're going to solve rational equations. I know you guys are super into fractions, and now that we have fractions and we have variables in the denominator, I know that you're really, really excited. So let's go ahead and just start with number one. So there's a lot of different things you can do. There are shortcuts you can take, but I'm going to show you the longer way of doing this because I want to show you the reasoning before I show you shortcuts, okay? So the first thing that I notice here is that I have two fractions. And in order to add two fractions together, you have to find a common denominator. Now I'm going to write in red over here because I don't need you to write this down. If I were doing what's 1/2 plus 1/3, you would tell me the common denominator is 6. So in order to get this to be a 6, I would have to multiply the top and bottom by 3. And to get this to be a 6, I'd have to multiply the top and bottom by 2. Then I would have 3 6 plus 2 6, which is 5 6, right? So with that being said, let's look over here. Our common denominator between these two would be 2x, because they both have to be represented. So looking at 4 over x, I'd have to multiply the top and bottom by 2 to get my 2x. And looking at the 5 over 2, I'd have to multiply my top and bottom by x to get 2x. And we're just going to leave this guy over here to the right the way he is. So right here, I had to multiply by these because now I'll have the same denominator. So I'll have 8 over 2x plus 5x over 2x equals negative 11 over x. Now we can combine these together. So just like when you did this, you did 3 plus 2 all over 6 is 5 over 6. We would do the same thing here. So 8 plus 5x all over 2x equals negative 11 over x. All right, I'm going to erase this over here because we're done using that now and comparing. And now what you can do here is cross multiply. You can only cross multiply if you have a fraction equals a fraction, okay? A fraction equals a fraction. And when you do cross multiply, make sure you multiply the entire thing together. So it's x times all of this. So you've got to distribute it to all of it. And that's going to equal 2x times negative 11. So we distribute here and we have 8x plus 5x squared equals negative 22x. I would probably get all of my x's on the left-hand side, and I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. So I have 5x squared, and then 8x plus 22x is going to be 30x. The next thing I would do is factor. Now I don't have three terms here, so what I'm going to do is pull out a GCF. So 5x is our GCF, and if we divide both terms by 5x, we'll have x plus 6 left over. Now using the zero product property, I can set 5x equal to 0 and solve, and I can set x plus 6 equal to 0 and solve. And when I solve, I get 0 and I get negative 6. All right? And this seems pretty easy, pretty straightforward, but you always have to check your answers. It's very, 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 very important because what can happen is you could get a 0 in a denominator. So what I would do is take this and substitute it in. So is 4 divided by 0 plus 5 halves equal to negative 11 over 0? And you better say no, because can we really divide by a 0? No, we can't. So goodbye. See you later. You're not going to work. So 4 over negative 6, so we're trying the negative 6 now, plus 5 over 2, does that equal negative 11 over negative 6? And if you're not sure, just pop it into your calculator here. So we're going to do 4, here I'm going to hit clear, negative 4 6 plus 5 halves, enter, math, enter, enter. So I get 11 over 6, which is what this one will be too, because two negatives make a positive. So this does work. And x equals negative 6. So notice you do have to check your answer. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to number 2 right here. And on number 2, I see two fractions. We have to find the common denominator. Well, this is over 1. So our common denominator is x plus 1 times 1. But I'm not going to write times 1 because it isn't really going to matter to the problem. So we leave the left-hand side alone. So 5x over x plus 1 equals. Now we need to get this common denominator. So if we need a denominator of x plus 1, I'll have to multiply the top and bottom of this first fraction by that x plus 1. Put my negative in here, and then this guy stays the same because he already has an x plus 1. All right, so left-hand side we just bring down, and over here make sure you distribute this 4 to everything. So 4x plus 4 over x plus 1 minus 5 over x plus 1. Now, remember earlier when I had something like this going on? Remember this? And I said, okay, 3, 6 plus 2, 6, most of you know is 5, 6, right? All you did was do 3 plus 2 to get the 5, and then you just put it over 6. We're going to do the same thing here. Everything on top, we're going to put all together. So this guy comes down, this term on the left side. And then over here we have 4x plus 4 minus 5 all over x plus 1. It's the same deal as what we did here. Exact same deal. Now we're going to combine like terms. So 5x over x plus 1 equals 4x minus 1 over x plus 1. Let's erase this. Now that we have a fraction equals a fraction, we can cross multiply. So if we set that up, that's 5x times x plus 1 equals x plus 1 times 4x minus 1. Now remember, you can pause this video, rewind it. My best advice to you is to watch it the first time through and then watch it a second time while writing everything down. So that's my best advice to you, and that's what I would do if I were you. All right, so looking at this, we could go ahead and distribute everything out, but I see this guy right here, so I'm going to go ahead and divide him out of here. Let's just get him out of here completely. Then I have 5x equals 4x minus 1. If I subtract 4x from both sides, I have x equals negative 1. But remember, you have to check your answer, because remember over here, this one didn't even work. So we're going to check our answer into the original. So it's 5 times negative 1 over negative 1 plus 1 equal to 4 minus 5 over negative 1 plus 1. All I'm doing is I'm checking it into the original equation. So is negative 5 over 0 equal to 4 minus 5 over 0? You better stop the presses right now. You cannot divide by a 0. Let's just stop right now. So, well, what are we going to do? Like, we had one answer and it didn't work. Well, if you have one answer, or if you have any answers and none of them work, the answer is no solution. There's no solution to this problem. There's no number that I could put in here for x and this will work at all. All right, so let's keep on moving down. So let's look at number 3. On number 3, this is an example where you're going to have to factor first. So x squared minus 4 is the difference of squares. So x plus 2, x minus 2 is what this will factor into. And then I notice that I have 2 fractions here. So I want to get those together first, so I need to find a common denominator. Well, this has an x plus 2, x minus 2. There we go, let me fix that. X plus 2, x minus 2, and this just has a 1. So our common denominator then is x plus 2, x minus 2. All right, so let's leave the left-hand side alone, 3x minus 2 over x minus 2. And over here, we already have 6 over x plus 2x minus 2. However, I need the second fraction to have the same denominator. So if this is 1 over 1, it's missing x plus 2, x minus 2. So x plus 2, x minus 2, just like that. So left-hand side comes on down here. There's nothing to do with that. But then over here, we have 6 over x plus 2x minus 2. And I'm going to go ahead and FOIL everything together over here. Distribute everything together. When you do that and you clean up your mess, it will look like that on top. X squared minus 4. So I just did it quickly for you. If you need to pause it and work it out and see how I did it, that's fine. I just did it pretty quickly there. Then we can add our tops together now that we have a common denominator. So I'm just going to bring down what's on the left-hand side. And then over here it'd be 6 plus x squared minus 4 over x plus 2, x minus 2. Now we have fraction equals fraction. So the good news is we can now cross multiply. So I'm going to have 3x minus 2 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. So that's this times that. Then we have the other side, which, by the way, let's clean this up. 6 plus x squared minus 4. I'm going to write this down first. 6 plus x squared minus 4 is x squared plus 2. Just like that. All right, so what are we going to do next here? Well, I would probably divide off my x minus 2 on both sides. Let's just get rid of him and not even worry about him at all. Goodbye. And then the next thing I would do is I would probably go ahead and distribute this out. And when you distribute it out, it's 3x squared plus 6x minus 2x minus 4 equals x squared plus 2. I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms on the left side. So 3x squared plus 4x minus 4 equals x squared plus 2. The next thing I'm going to do is subtract x squared from both sides and subtract a 2. And when I do that, I have 2x squared plus 4x minus 6 equals 0. And what I'm noticing here is they all have a factor of 2. So I'm going to divide all of these by 2. And if I divide 0 by 2, I also get 0. And then I factor. What multiplies to give me negative 3, but it's going to add to give me positive 2. So that's going to be x plus 3, x minus 1. Using the zero product property, ZPP, we can say that x plus 3 equals 0 and x minus 1 equals 0. If I solve this, I get x equals negative 3 and x equals 1. Now I want to tell you, I'm going pretty fast here, so you could always pause it and rewatch it. You know, you can do whatever you need to do. This is learning at your own pace, okay? We're going to check our solutions in the original equation up here, okay? So 3 times negative 3 minus 2 over negative 3 minus 2, is that equal to 6 over negative 3 squared minus 4 plus 1? Well, this is 9 minus 2, negative 9 minus 2, which is negative 11, and that'll be a negative 5 on the bottom. And this will be 6 over, this is 9 minus 4, and 9 minus 4 is 5, plus 1. So, I could do this in the calculator here. 2.2, is that equal to this? So this is 6 divided by 5 plus 1, and I get 2.2 for this also. So we know x equals negative 3 is an answer. Now let's check the 1. So 3 times 1 minus 2 over 1 minus 2, is that equal to 6 over 1 squared minus 4 plus 1? Well, this is 3 minus 2, which is 1, and this is 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. So 6 over, this will be 1 minus 4, which is negative 3, plus 1. So negative 1, that's negative 2. It looks like to me that this works out perfectly. So both of these are going to be a solution. So let me back it up real quick. In the first one, we had one solution. In the second one, we had no solution. And in this third one, we had 2 solutions, okay? You got to check those answers. You just never know. Now, there's one more for you to try on the back. So I would like you to complete number 4 and bring that to class. I expect to see it done and ready to go. And I and your other teachers will see you then. Good night.